That's good.
Right.
So,
Are we recording?
we're recording.
Okay.
So, this is the first video we've done for a while. So, let's think about things for the last couple of weeks, I guess. So, what's been your highlight over the last couple of weeks?
The highlight of the last couple of weeks is the progress we've made in sort of understanding where we sit as a business, as in what service we can provide, and get a real clear understanding of what our customer looks like and how we want to interact with our customer.
Okay.
Because we used to think we have a wide customer base and we can work with anyone, but time to contact everyone is difficult. We've only got so much time, so it's get a better understanding of what our client looks like.
Right. So you mean on buyers targeting more narrowly our target market?
Yeah.
Focusing on our market.
Understanding what their pain points are,
Yeah.
and how we can help address those pain points. And then from that, we found naturally that we're targeting one sort of type of area, but there's other areas that people are interested in, but it's sort of targeting people's pain points. That's sort of the best way of doing it, but within our target market.
Okay. I guess at the end of the day, any business is there to solve a problem, isn't it? You know, and the pain and the things people struggle with are the things that businesses should be focusing on solving, not focusing on selling something they want to sell.
And we've learned that.
Yeah.
I think one other thing we've improved on is customer feedback. What do we think they want, but what do they actually want?
Yeah, I mean, if I go into a supermarket and somebody tries to sell me broccoli, it ain't going to happen because I don't want any broccoli because I can't stand the stuff.
You've got to open your mind. Broccoli's the future.
So, you know, if they want to sell me carrots, maybe. Potatoes, not at the minute because I'm cutting down on carbs. But yeah, it's no point trying to sell something people don't want. And I think that's key to businesses that are starting up as well, because, you know, when we went down that same road in the beginning where we had what we believed, and I still believe was a great concept, a great idea, but it was something that people didn't want, you know. So there's no point in trying to sell something people don't want. Now, enlightening them and educating them into what you're providing and how it can help them may change their mind sometimes, but generally, if it's something people don't want, you're going to have a really tough time selling it. And,
yeah, I agree.
You know, it's better. I always think it's better not to sell. It's better to let people make their own decisions. You know, and you know, if they can see the value in what you do, they'll buy what.
Yeah, because every organisation is different. I mean, I did a good meeting this week with a client who was about to subscribe to the platform. Who said, I think it really resonated with me. So the system or the platform you have to provide has to sit within our processes, how we operate on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And then he said we may change it as time goes on to adapt your system into our processes. And I thought that was quite a key thing, really. That when I sat back and thought about it, that really we're providing a solution into their business, so it's got to be able to work for them, right? Otherwise, it's too much of a change at once. You've got to accept that change and fit within your process.
Yeah, it works both ways, well, doesn't it? Because we've actually enhanced our product because of a customer requirement or a customer request, you know, and that was that. It was actually we could see it was a benefit, so we've implemented that, and that's how we develop our product based on customers' needs, not on what we want to sell them, which is probably different to where we started off 3 years ago.
I read a real good article yesterday that Apple are about to remove or get rid of iTunes.
They are,
because people don't want it anymore. I mean, Amazon Music.
Do you know why this? I'll tell you exactly why they're selling it. Why they're stopping it. Right. This is my insight. This is just. When I heard it, this is the first thing that came into my head.
Am I listening to Steve Jobs right now if I close my eyes?
Hey, you'll think whatever you want when you close your eyes, just don't tell me about it. Apple have got this. They've got a monopoly on buying music, pretty much, right? Yeah. What they're doing now is splitting it. They're not getting rid of iTunes, are they? They're splitting it and they're segmenting it into different markets.
Yeah.
So they're splitting it and putting it into other products. What they'll then do is increase revenue by having several products So you put it all into one. There's almost people expecting economies of scale. They're doing it in reverse, and they're splitting it up. So they'll get a bit more revenue from putting music there. They'll put get a bit more revenue from putting video. I mean, I don't even know what stuff's in there.
So you're not their target market.
I'm not their target market because I'm not, as you know, I'm not the biggest Apple fan on the planet.
I think it's the best.
I love my MacBook, but I don't like the way they tie you into everything. So, great products and all that, but yeah, I just don't like that concept of being tied in. So yeah, so I think what they're doing now is going to be generating more income. They're creating other markets. You know, they'll split it into 4 or 5 different segments, and then they'll grow each segment, and overall they'll have a much higher.
I don't know, it'd be interesting. I mean, I used to love my iPods. Bizarrely, I used to buy several iPods because I used to think they were fantastic. Well, exactly. But then when they eliminated that and put it into the iPhone, I thought that was crazy talk. And yet, it was the best thing they ever did because to me, you have one device that has absolutely everything. And their revenue probably increased massively because they actually probably reduced their product lines and increased revenue, so it's win-win for them.
You see, I guess the iPod was purely a tool to grow the music market, wasn't it?
Well, at the time, you should download iTunes for free.
Yeah.
And you put your CDs on, put them onto your system, and then link them into your iPod. I thought this was the greatest thing in the world, but now all it's changed. You stream your music on Amazon Prime or Amazon Music, and and I used to get really excited about making playlists on iTunes. Now I've become so lazy. I ask Amazon or I ask iTunes to suggest a playlist to me.
Yeah, well, you've got that Alexa and stuff now anyway. You say, play me some Dire Straits or whatever, you know.
Dire Straits. We're not in the 80s.
What's wrong with that? Yeah, alright.
You're going to see Live here soon, are you?
Is that coming up? Can't wait.
So to me, the thing I take from that, the thing I take from that is that you've got to keep continually developing and make it as easy as possible for your customer. What do they want? Make their life easy, take the pain away. The more you can do that, the more your customer will use your products and services. If you make anything difficult, it becomes a burden for them.
Yeah, it's got to be easy, hasn't it? As user experience as easy as possible. The amount of times I get halfway through the buying cycle or the purchasing decision or whatever, and then it feels too complicated or not another page, and I just think,
what we discussed before, one click buy on Amazon.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to know the demographics, and it's probably
a bit like garlic bread, isn't it? You were just about to say it. What was you going to say?
I wasn't going to say garlic bread at all.
No, but you were going to say one click buying, it's
the future.
Garlic bread.
The future. I just think I'd like to see the demographics of how many people have bought stuff on one click buy on an evening while they've had a few beers, because I bet that's quite a high demographic.
Yeah. But we're not aiming for the drunken market.
No, we're not yet. So I just think it's being able to adapt it for what your customer wants is key, because there's no point trying to sell them something they don't want or it's too difficult.
So you've sort of learned quite a lot on marketing.
Yeah, and
concepts of marketing.
Yeah, and we have to accept that where we've developed and come up with an idea or a solution, that's our idea and thoughts. We've taken feedback, but once you start putting something into the field and start getting real people's user feedback, that to me is the real bread and butter that you've got to embed back into your system, because you've got to make their life easy, make it as easy as possible as them. They're the ones who use it day in, day out. You might as well do it. It's only when you buy a car, if something frustrates you, you get more annoyed about that part of the car and probably not buy another one.
And I guess if you give what your potential clients want, there is no buying decision, is there?
Yeah, you've made life, and money becomes a secondary issue.
Yeah, you've taken everything away, and you're giving them exactly what they need. So they will.
Well, I'm from this discussion as well, where we've talked to people who are trying to get builders, can't get the builders to come along and do an extension or anything like that, where it starts off as price being their driver, but then the driver becomes actually just tearing up.
And I know exactly that from when I built my house. I went through 3 or 4 different plastering companies, crews or whatever, until I finally got one that turned up. And I lost weeks and weeks, because at the time there was a lot of construction work, and they were just ditching work for more, for better paid jobs all the time. And that's the problem with one of the issues with the construction industry. When it's good times, there is no sticking with the job. In a lot of cases, everybody's not the same, but it's definitely an issue. So.
Well, I'm bringing back into another interesting subject there, really, about pay peanuts, get monkeys, as in cheapest doesn't always mean the best. And you've had a recent rant about people putting tenders in and not believing because they're the cheapest they should have won. And I think to me that's a key thing I've always learned, that if you cheapest isn't always the best. Like you pay cheap, you buy twice. So to me, when we talk about, you've got to be in the ballpark, but you don't always have to be the cheapest. So when people always want to know you're going to turn up, you've got quality, you've got to do what you say. That to me is essential, because it's like the old adage of buying a car. You buy a bad car, you tell 8 people. You buy a good car, you tell 2 people.
Yeah, you know, and I've always been, obviously my background is procurement, and even personally, I very rarely buy the cheapest products, you know. I'd rather pay a little bit more and get something a little bit better, and I'd be a bit more assured of its quality and that. And the problem is, you know, when you're running a tender, so this was a tender for a construction project, and it was 1.2 billion or something. When you're doing stuff like that, there's always going to be a variance in the prices that people put in, and what you've got to do is you're on the lookout initially for any really low bids or any really high bids, because if you've got a lot of scattered prices, so the prices, you know, are all over the place, then it usually means that your spec's not very good. So your spec is too ambiguous, and people have interpreted it in different ways, and some have upped the price to put some cost in there to cover their risk because there's things they're not sure about. But with a low price, they've probably missed stuff. They're potentially going to be using poor materials. They could be cutting corners on safety. There's lots of reasons and ways that companies will come in cheap, you know. And as a buyer, you've got to make sure that you're not opening up your organisation to those types of risks. So when you're looking at putting a tender together, when you're developing a tender process, you look at the risks, potential risks, and what you're trying to get out of it, and you then decide what weighting you're going to give to price and what weighting you're going to give to quality. And in that case, it was a 60% weighting on quality and a 40% weighting on price. So what that means is that even if your price is the cheapest, you've got to be top on quality, or you've got to be up there on quality to win the tender. And in that case, that construction company clearly weren't good enough on quality, or their bid was not good enough.
Or they didn't explain it sufficiently.
Because the tender takes into account only what is presented in the bid.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it doesn't take into account history or what they know, or they're reading the papers or anything, or even my videos, you know. It's all about what you submit to the organisation for that individual tender. And if somebody else puts a better bid in, somebody else says the right things and you don't, they're going to win it. And that's it. You know, stop bitching and whining is, I think, one of my words. You know, just get on with it. So, yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think so. And I think good feedback we've had. It's not always all feedback's good feedback, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. You should take it all on board. You don't always have to agree with everything, but you should take everything on board, because to me that's how you develop your products going forward. If you think you've got the emperor's new clothes, you don't want everybody to tell you it's fantastic when it's not the case. And I had a good quote the other day. Someone said when they go to a restaurant and the waitress asks them what was the food like, and it was bad, don't say yeah, it was really good, because their belief is it's really good. So you might as well be honest. There's ways to be honest without being abusive. You can be structured feedback, but you should get feedback, because you might think you're doing a great job and you need to be recalibrated, and that's good for everybody. I always like it, but it's good for everybody.
Yeah, I always try and be honest in that respect. You know, we were in a restaurant with a family the other day, and my daughter had some wedges.
This is pre-carb.
No, my daughter had wedges. I want me, so I can't remember what I had. But we were sat there, and these wedges come in one of them like tin can things, like a little mini bucket. And I said, oh, but you got sweet potato wedges? She said, no, the normal wedges. And you know, sweet potato is like a lot darker colour in it than a normal potato. But these things were black. And she ate them all, apart from one. She left the worst one on the side of the plate. And the waitress come and said, how was your meal and everything? I went, to be honest, I said, you might not want to cook the wedges so much. And I showed her the burnt one. And she was, really concerned, quite distraught. But I won't say the name of the place, but it was in Hull City Centre. So she straight away, they have radios, so she straight on the radio and said, can you please do me a refund for a portion of wedges? And she come back.
But you're more likely to go back to that restaurant again because of that.
Yeah, and to be fair, everything else we had was nice. Everything else we've been there many times, and it was always nice. But my daughter probably wouldn't have said anything because she's a younger person and I'm not as outspoken as I am. No, really, she's not. So but I was polite and I said, like, it's not. You just need to know, I'm not trying to get money back or anything because she only left one wedge. So she sort of had her money's worth, but and it was what, £3, so it wasn't a big deal.
But I just think you're more likely to go back as a customer if you think you've been listened to. You'll go back if you've been ignored. I mean, I once read a stat, whether it's true or not. It said that 97% of all complaints are not verbalised,
not voiced. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not. I've got no idea. But it always starts with that. I think most people, especially the British culture, is not to say anything.
I think it's hard enough for businesses anyway. That we owe them some honest feedback. If I get a crap meal and think I'm not going there again, they've lost a customer. If they have an opportunity, if they get the feedback and at least stop that happening again so they don't lose another customer, or have the opportunity to rectify that for me, then there's a chance I'll go back again. And we owe it. We owe them feedback.
So there's a real good analogy there. Really is, or a story really, I guess, is one of my wife's favourite restaurants in the city centre. Just got a very poor rating on the health and safety. Because my wife loves this restaurant, she said, "Oh, that can't be true. It must have been a bad day." Now, in the same story, a restaurant she doesn't like got a poor rating. She said, "Yeah, I knew that was going to happen." So again, depending on how you feel valued by that restaurant, your perceptions change on that negative stories that they get. So I think it's important to take it on board, listen to your customers. Your customer's not always right, but you've got to take on board everything that they're saying and listen to what they have.
Yeah.
Right. Well, do you feel we've added value today?
Wow, it's been an interesting chat, I think.
Yeah. Not as much venting as I expected, I'll be honest with you.
Well, you asked me a question, but it was unrehearsed, isn't it? This video, this is just us having a chat. But ask me a question. Try not to make it so I come out and start ranting. I'm having a good day so far. It's sunshine and it's going to be a good day.
So what's over the last couple of weeks? What's the pressure point that's finally come good, that's maybe relaxed a bit more? Because obviously...
well, as you know, we're going through a massive project at the minute. We're not going to talk about it on camera because it'll all become apparent in the next couple of weeks, but we're going through a massive change with the marketplace business. Well, a number of massive changes, but there's one overarching activity that needs completing to make it all happen, and that's really, really close now. We're literally days away from that. Touch wood. I've probably said that before. So I think as much as it all starts, we've got massive activity, massive work to do, and massive things to achieve when this starts, when this project kicks off. But the fact that we've got to this stage, I don't want to say I'm relaxing because I'm not. Because
no, I just think it goes to the next stage.
I think there's a bit of a relief, So our good friend Craig Wilkinson talks about TD Jakes on YouTube. He's a gospels preacher. We're not religious, but he's I'm not. Speak for myself. But he does talk about something, the different devils for different levels, and basically as you go through life it's like climbing stairs, and as you get close to getting on to the next step it gets really difficult, and when it gets really difficult you're on the edge of getting up to that next step, and then it all starts again, and that's how you go through life, and I know from my background, I can relate that to my background, where I came from, to where I've got to, and it is you've got to constantly drive forward and drive upwards. And I think that's where we are now. We're about to go, and I call it leveling up. We're about to level up. We're going to go up to that next step, and I know it's going to be difficult on the next step as well. But we're a lot further on than we were. It's going to be massive changes, and I think it's that's the progress we've made with that. Although it's been months in the making, we can finally see the finish line now, and it's days away. So that's been a good thing for me. But we need to.
I think our mindset has changed. Talked to someone a couple of weeks ago, described it as where you used to aim for a glass ceiling, then you break it, and then you think, what do we do next? The way we sort of work is we aim for a glass ceiling. When we're about to break it, we start to plan for the next glass ceiling. So when we break through, we've already got a plan for the next one. And so we're constantly evolving. What do we want to do next?
I think if you look at the 5-year plan. Okay, so when you look at where we are at the end of 5 years from now, we're looking at the sky. We're looking at space.
Yeah.
So we're looking through all the many glass ceilings. Because the glass you can see beyond them. Well, that's where we're going. But we realise there's steps. There's those ceilings, as you say, to break through. And you've got to. It's no good just aiming straight for that. You've got to do it in stages, and we're just about to break a massive stage, and then all the hard work begins. If it didn't hard work already.
Yeah, I mean it's quite funny because I think, in fact, I don't think how many hours a week we actually work. But bizarrely, I don't always consider it as work because I think I actually really enjoy coming in. We did a discussion before. We actually enjoy coming to work early. Yeah, we have our ups and downs and some. Stressful at times, but actually I think I've never enjoyed work like so much as I have. I feel it's coming in, we're doing something different, we can see an end goal.
And you're working with me.
Well, every plays it down, doesn't it, really? But I just think for the first time I feel like, well, I've had feelings before, but I actually enjoy coming in. We're doing something, we're changing something, I can see the end goal, what's happening.
Yeah, and we've got a great environment, we've got a great office facility.
A good network.
Yeah, and things are good. You don't want to tempt fate if you believe in that stuff or out like that, but things are going very well. But they're going well because we know where we're going. We're taking action, as Craig would say, we're taking massive action to make things happen, and things are happening, and we haven't limited our beliefs. And that's one thing people often do is they don't think big. They don't think they can achieve big things.
And we was there.
Absolutely.
Until probably, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe longer than that, where we had a couple of discussions with key people who opened up our eyes to what was the art of the possible.
Yeah.
And from there, we even dismissed it at first.
Yeah, we're not experts, are we?
No.
But one thing we are, I think we're sponges for learning and development. So we're always growing it as people, as business people. We're always developing, we're always learning more things, and we know we need to learn more and more and more. We just took on an exec director, because we want to suck their experience out of them.
Well, not only that, I just think to get to that next level, we need that next level of support.
Yeah,
to get there, we need that guidance, we need that help. Clearly we don't know everything. There's stuff we need to learn as we go along, there's mistakes we've made, but we need that help and guidance. And I also think as we transition and grow and change, our networks changes, how we work's changing, everything. And funny, one of the things that I'm discussing with you this week about going to meetings that waste my time, for want of a better way of putting it. Really, I'm thinking, what am I getting out of this meeting? Without sounding harsh to the people that are in the room, but I look around thinking, what am I doing here? Right?
Yeah, I think and the discussion we had was around everything you do has got to add value to the business. Hasn't it?
What's the ROI?
It's not. You've got to be a little bit hard. You've got to be a little bit selfish. And as much as I used to go to events where
you just
I went because I went because I was bacon butties. It was a nice breakfast, or I like the people.
Hence the carb diet now.
Well, yeah, maybe. But that ain't delivering anything back to the business. In fact, it's wasting time that I could be spending on something else. So I don't think we overwork. I think there's many people who work lots more hours than us, and I don't think we'll continue to work the hours we're working in the future. Because I am a firm believer you should have something in reserve. But that said, and like you said, it doesn't feel like work. I don't feel stressed because I'm working lots of hours or anything like that. I'm actually quite relaxed about it. But I'm enjoying it, So we're in here about 7 o'clock in the morning when we previously would have come in 9 o'clock in the morning, it's through choice, and having that choice is a great thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, very interesting journey, but I think as you grow as a business, you develop, you realise what works for you, what doesn't, what networks work for you, what meetings work, what value add. And I think the big change for us, definitely over the last 4 or 5 months, is everything we do, there has to be some type of ROI involved in it, even if it's the long game, where you think I'm building up a long relationship or changing networks, or I want to get into different areas. You look at the long game, but there's still got to be an ROI, there's still got to be a plan for that, to what you want to do, where before we would just go to an opening of an envelope if we thought there was people to see.
Great analogy. I'm not going to name the guy who uses this analogy, but one thing that popped straight into me when he said that was, you've got to fish in the right pond. You've got to fish in the right pond. There's so many ponds out there that are full of tiddlers, and then that tiddlers that are never going to grow into anything else. You've got to know where you're going and what type of people you're going to be working with alongside, and who your clients are, and you've got to fish in the ponds where your clients, prospective clients are. It's no good going to, like as you say, an opening of an envelope, or
And we did. When we first started, we'd go to anything.
Yeah, I must have spent 3 or 4 days a week networking.
And
networking.
I remember me and you having a fallout about it once, about how many events we're doing, what's the point in this?
It's networking's really, really important, but it's only important if it's adding value, and if it's networking for a purpose, for a reason, and in the right place. And that's the fishing in the right pond.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone to a lot of events over the years that I look back and think, why?
Yeah.
But that's just part of your learning curve.
And I do think as your business grows and develops, the ponds you fish in change, or the ponds you should be fishing in change. So we're fishing in ponds outside of our locality now. Previously, that would have been pointless. We fished in the right ponds, I think, locally, and that served its purpose. There was a benefit to that. Now we need to fish in different ponds, and it's not being. You've got to not be afraid of making those changes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we think nothing of going to London for a day, for an event that we want to go to, because the right people are going to be there that we want to meet, or we're going to learn something from that event, where we might go to Manchester, Birmingham, Sheffield, Leeds, wherever, because I just think every event we go to, I always think now is what's the reason for us going? Are we learning something, or meeting somebody, or we've been able to promote what we do? I never think of it as sales. I always think of building the network and promoting us as a business. And I never go with the intention of how many sales can we get at that meeting, because I don't think you should ever go like that. I think it's how can you build those relationships and convert those into meaningful, lasting sales. But I think we have changed quite a lot. But our networking is one thing, but doing the do is another thing. You've got to get that balance right, haven't you, really? Yeah.
Thanks for your time this morning, Gareth.
Well, I think I've been brilliant. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think I've been brilliant as well. And I've got visions now. I'm just looking and making sure the camera's still going, and it doesn't say memory card full or battery low or that, but it's still going. So let's draw it to a close and let's do it again.
Well, let's do that. I'm looking forward to the next one. So see you all later.
See you, folks.
Bye.